It's a white Christmas. Crumpled wrapping paper, empty boxes, and gifts are scattered around Christmas trees and homes all over the neighborhood. Video games, dolls, and all sorts of toys for the children. Clothes, tools, and lots of items ranging all along the spectrum, from practical to frivolous for the adults. Just down the street, Mr. Clemens is waiting for his parents to take their grandkids to see a movie so he can unwrap his wife. It's one of the more naughty traditions of the holiday, but certainly nothing that would get the two of them put on any sort of list. All along cozy little May Street, people are happy and content, except for one household. That's right. In one house near the end is a family that didn't wake up early to unwrap their presents. In fact, the Christmas lights on the house and tree haven't been lit up in quite a while. No cookies and milk were set out for Santa the night before, and the cat hasn't eaten in almost 3 days. No plumes of smoke can be seen coming from the chimney. If anyone intends to stop by today, they will have to park in the street. No one has shoveled the driveway recently. The delicious scents of turkey and hams waft from ovens all along May Street. The Smiths and Rogers have just set out freshly baked Christmas cookies. "Don't touch those yet, Jimmy," says his father. "They're still too hot to eat." A bubbling red sauce is cooking on the stove in the Mancini household, while spicy meatballs sizzle in the oven. No wondrous scents are floating through the cold kitchen towards the end of the street. Nothing but a strange smell that even the most inexperienced person can recognize immediately. The decorations are all laid out, but no one is there to enjoy them. Eventually, someone will come along and peek through the window. Some curious neighbor or worried family member will stop by sooner or later. The presents under the tree lie there untouched. The decorations have been set up so carefully, but just sit there unadmired and collecting dust. Someone very soon is going to wipe the frost away from the front window and look into the living room. They will see everything in its proper place, especially the stockings. They will peer into the cold little house on May Street and see Mrs. and Mrs. Stocking and their 2 children, Elizabeth and Jacob. They have been hung by the chimney with care. I was never the nicest kid in the neighborhood. I stole, I bullied, and I lied my way through my childhood. I'm not proud of it, but maybe I redeemed myself today. Where do I begin? It seems like just yesterday that I was plotting my greatest prank. A spool of fishing line across the room, thumbtacks snuck under the carpet and copper wire around the Christmas tree. Enough to shock someone badly. My stepfather would get all banged up and he had to pretend he was Santa so he couldn't tell me off. It was perfect, or so I thought. I never expected the real Santa to haul me up in bed by the collar that night, angry burns on his fingers, and shove me into a sack. I was thrown onto the floor of a giant warehouse when I first arrived, and strong hands pushed me to my knees. A burning vial of potion was poured down my throat, and I felt my body reshape itself. 4 years I have been here, along with thousands of other quote-unquote elves. Misbehaved children. We were told that all memories of us would vanish, photographs, tattoos, drawings, everything. Then we were told to work. Millions of toys that needed repainting, stitching, assembling. Gnomes whipped us when we were getting too tardy. We were only fed milk and cookies, and it always tasted like the ones Mom used to make. It was supposed to motivate us, but it just made everything worse. I was plotting my escape, as were several others, I'm sure. But we had no way of escaping the North Pole. Santa told us, laughing merrily, that we'd be dead by the hour if we stepped out into the cold. But that didn't stop many children from trying. The lack of security was disgusting. They knew we'd come back. Those who got caught were fed to the reindeer. I still remember their hollow black eyes crushing skull after skull of my friends. Those who went head first were the lucky ones. I'm outside now, and I'm huddling with the corpses of the brave souls who chose to die free. 6 other children are with me. One of them seems to be dead already. She was only 11. We're going to die. Eventually, but on our own terms. The source of the heat in the warehouse. We're going to overload it and blow this place to high hell. We're all ready to lay down our lives. If you're reading this, please remember us. A list of names followed with their respective ages. None of them were above 14. My heart leapt to my mouth, and for more reasons than one. I looked up again at the abandoned factory, all the small bodies half concealed by snow, and at the only sign on the door read, "Moved."